make sure, if I leave it up there, just make sure that when we're done reading, everybody sit down, 'cause that's the only way I know that it's my turn to get up.
Maybe.
Serena's going to do the mask announcement during the announcements, and you can just follow her up if you want.
Still working on it.
You didn't print out any more copies.
Got you covered.
I'm with you. Don't relax.
Would you do me a large favor? Yeah, so they don't fall over. Cece, we're gonna sit down here, not up here. We can't. All right.
So how's school so far? Good? Little good? Little bad? You like your teacher? Good. Come, come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair. Wait a minute. We'll start over. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, or whether you have hair or not, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter how you came here, if you came alone or with others, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. If you come here with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, then you are indeed welcome here. Welcome to church today. My name is Dave Lyon, and I will be your worship associate this morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice, or as we like to call it, UCOV. And if you'd like to learn more about us, we have a great website, uucov.org. It'll tell you all the activities that are going on. It'll answer almost any questions you have. And we're also on Facebook. You can find us that way. So to start the morning, do we have any first-time or visitors or guests that would be comfortable enough to tell us your name and where you're from? Any? Yes. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for coming today. There's a lot of options out there, and we appreciate people that come here. Any other first-timers? And I should say, are there any returning folks? And I see the Canarellis are back from the mountains. And yes, welcome back, welcome back. Announcements. Serena has a much long-awaited announcement. Want to do it, or want me to bring you the mic? I can't find the mic.
I can come up, yes. I'm going to take the stairs and like this up here. I am happy to say that as of actually Friday afternoon, masks are optional in the sanctuary. We have been downgraded, Sarasota County has been downgraded to a medium risk. Now, why aren't we at a low risk? Because too many unvaccinated people are still being admitted to the hospital. So the Sarasota County hospital numbers are, even though they've been trending down, are still higher than the metric that was set by the CDC. But on the other two metrics that we've been following, and that is the number of cases per 100,000, they've been trending down, and we're low there, and we also are low with the staffing of ICU beds. Well, why is that important? That's important because if you have no ICU beds available and you are critically ill with COVID, it puts a strain on the whole healthcare, on that hospital, and then on the whole healthcare system. And we've experienced that in the past with surges where, they were setting up tents, et cetera. So, unmasked, that's it. Option.
Two announcements. Do you have a slide on one of them? October the 2nd, which is a Saturday at 4 o'clock. Put that on your calendar. There's going to be a panel discussion on the changes to the recent Florida election law.
It's a Sunday, Dave.
Sunday. What did I say? Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Second announcement is, as I understand it, the board is going to have a meeting with the congregants that are interested at 11:15, about 15 minutes after the service, right in here, to talk about the settled minister search process, where they are, where they're going, and how they're going to do it. Is that correct?
Well, we're going to talk about whatever the congregation.
Okay, good, good. So the prelude will begin the service.
We light our chalice together today, and we say, may we rejoice in
meeting one another,
and may we be glad to be part of each other's lives
in the greater whole.
It's okay. Read it together.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw, and my pronouns are she or they, and we're gathered here today on land that is the traditional territory of the indigenous Calusa people. Today we're going to be talking about community and the ministry that we all share. And we open with words from Starhawk. Community means strength. She writes, "We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free. So come and be strong. Come and let us worship here together." Our gathering hymn this morning is All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. So please rise in body or spirit. It's number 203, verses 1 through 3. We survived that one. Our children's chapel today, we're going to talk about what the grown-ups are going to learn later. And what we're talking about today is the idea of ministry. And what does ministry mean? Well, there are things like ministers, which is me. We're people who do this for a living. We're professional human beings. But everybody else is a minister too. Even kids. Everybody has a ministry. Now, you might not think your ministry is important, but I can tell you right now it is. I don't know if your ministry is doing the dishes after supper, or making your parents smile. Maybe your ministry is cutting the grass, or reading a bedtime story to a sibling. That's a ministry. All of us have ministries, the things that we are called to do that make our hearts glad and help others. And that's what we're talking about today. So thank you for listening to my words, and I ask all of you to help me sing the kids out to the benediction. As I say every week, giving is sacred. Giving is part of our theology. When you give to your church, you also receive. And our offering words are offered each week with a joke, because giving should never hurt. Giving should make you smile. So here's this week's. One warm Sunday morning, a Unitarian Universalist minister announced to her congregation, "My good people, I have here in my hand 3 sermons. A $1,000 sermon that lasts 15 to 20 minutes. It's full of wit and insight. I have a $500 sermon. It lasts 30 minutes and it drags a bit in places. And I have a $50 sermon. It lasts a full hour and it includes numerous readings from the Cambridge platform, the UUA guidelines for committee formation, and Robert's Rules of Order. Now we're going to pass the offering plates and see which one you have chosen. The morning offering will now be given and gratefully, gratefully received. I say in all seriousness, thank you. Thank you for all the gifts and the talents and treasures you bring to UCOV week after week after week. Thank you. Our church isn't about the building or the grounds. It isn't about the minister or the flowers. The church is about the people, the community. And it's as a community of human hearts and human hands that we come together each week to bear witness and to minister to one another as we celebrate the joys and we share the pains. We are entering into a time of sharing our joys and concerns, and you can raise a hand and someone will bring you a microphone. Please share information only with permission. Do we have anyone who needs to share today?
Hello, I have both a joy and a sorrow. My church that I go to in Kauai is celebrating its 100th anniversary today. And the sorrow is I also lost a dear friend in Kauai who was only 65, who took care of everybody and was dearly loved, and we miss her.
I'm Jean. Good morning. To lose a friend. Last Monday, the day was started with a sense of complete shock that Patricia Franks had died. We hadn't been here for a stretch, so I hadn't been in touch with her. But it just left a dark hole for the day. And I know that Mary Ann brought the flowers to celebrate Pat's life, a gesture. But I think as we remember her, and I certainly do for the force that she was, she will live in spirit as part of this community forever.
Well, Barbara and I have been in a state of joy all week because we just got back from a great trip up to New Hampshire to see our children, their children, and their children. So in other words, we have great grandkids up there. We saw all the generations while we were there, got around to several houses, their homes. It was intense. This went on for about 10 days. Barbara and I took a couple days to go up to Algonquin. We stayed in the hotel there for a couple days and had our fill of lobster and all the good stuff up there on the Maine coast. It's beautiful, and it's a very uplifting place to go to. Of course, it's high season up there, so you know what it's like that. But anyway, so we were just delighted. We were glad that Barb could survive the plane trip. We were kind of worried about her mobility and stuff like that, but it was handled pretty decently, I thought. We were supported well on that, so it worked out real well. So yeah, we're in a state right now.
May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern. May the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May the work of our hands and our hearts support, aid, and comfort all those who hunger or thirst for food or water, justice or freedom. May we never look away when we're needed. May those who are grieving be comforted. May those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed, and may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant.
Today's first reading is a piece called Anyone's Ministry by Gordon McKeeman. Ministry is a quality of relationship between and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities inviting people into deeper, more constant, more relevant relationship with the world and with one another. Carrying forward a long heritage of hope and liberation that has dignified and informed the human venture over many centuries, being present with, to, and for others in their terrors and torments, in their grief, misery, and pain, knowing that those feelings are our feelings too. Celebrating the triumph of the human spirit, the miracles of birth and life, the wonders of devotion and sacrifice. Witnessing to life-enhancing values, speaking truth to power. Speaking for human dignity and equity, for compassion and aspiration. Believing in life, in the presence of death, struggling for human responsibility against principalities and structures that ignore the human and become instruments of death. It is all these and much more than all of them, present in the wordless, the unspoken, the ineffable. It is speaking and living the highest we know, and living with the knowledge that it is, never as deep or as wide or as high as we wish. Whenever there is a meeting that summons us to our better selves, whenever our lostness is found, our fragments are united, our wounds begin healing, our spines stiffen, and our muscles grow strong for the task, there is ministry.
I bring the following words to you as we prepare to enter into a brief time of silence. We minister to one another as naturally as breath, each of us answering a call that only we can hear. Making bread, pouring tea, taking the time to teach a child, we create the space we need to slowly heal the world. Please join me in 1 minute of silent meditation, thought, or prayer.
Our second reading today is from How Can I Help? By Paul Gorman and Ram Dass. I am talking to a woman who is working for the Gallup poll. She's actually doing a poll on how much time people spend helping. She's trying to explain the criteria. I finally start to crack up, seeing something of the absurdity of it all. You all are crazy. How much time are people helping? What kind of question is that? Tell Gallup he's nuts. She started to laugh as well. I know, that's what I said too. What can I tell you? It's a job. She was sort of whispering, which made me laugh even more. We got into this conspiratorial, infectious laughter at it all. When we stopped laughing, I asked, was that helping? She said, I guess so, sort of. Why was it? I said, that's your job. We are trying to make the best of a nutty situation. In fact, that's what I'm trying to do all the time. That's it. I want you to put me down in the Gallup poll as someone who helps all the time. She said, we don't have a category for all the time. But we do have a line here that says all of the above. At this point, I didn't know if she was kidding, but I went for it. Perfect. Put me down for all of the above. I am very all of the above. Above, in fact, you have to put everybody down under all of the above. Everybody's trying to make the best of a nutty situation. If you would rise in body and spirit, our centering hymn today is number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness.
You all may notice we've got the hymnals out under the chairs, so if you like to look at the sheet music or want a little closer version of the words, the hymnals are out, so they're there for you to use if you want them. When I go to parties or on trips where people don't know me, and we have all the normal chit-chat. And what's one of the first questions you ask people? You ask them, so what do you do for a living? And when I say, actually, I'm a minister, I get one of two types of things that happen. Either somebody steps back and they look at everything from my tattoos to my hair, and they go, yeah, right, what do you really do? Or my very favorite, I say, actually, I'm a minister, and suddenly they try to hide their beer behind an air molecule. And I notice them, they've got a lit cigarette, and they're doing this, and the first thing out of their mouth is, I just love Jesus. And I have to explain that it's really okay, and they can get their beer out of the potted plant, and, I'm great, whoever you love. There have been a lot of days where I've seriously been tempted, because of a business my family is in, to say, no, I'm a mortician, what do you do? But doing that, while it would be a lot easier, even though I know that business, it would betray this piece of fabric I wear around my neck, this stole. I'm a minister with a capital M. That means I answered that call to spend my life working in this field. I'm trained to do the work of helping people to transform, helping them figure out what it is they believe and how they live those values in the real world. I'm answerable to the church where I am called or hired, and to ethical and legal codes that help me to maintain good boundaries. We all know that. And when I stood in front of my first church, one of the things they do is they put one of these on you. I was ordained, and they put the stole around my shoulders, and all I could think of was, my God, that is so heavy. In some ways, it always will be, because a minister with a capital M is an equal called out from among the people to serve in the role up here. And we wear the weight of that unique role no matter where we are, up here doing our job, at a party. But as I put that first stole on, it was in a church filled with 250 people, and they all came forward and they did laying on of the hands. Not to speak to any God, but to bring their strength forward. And the weight lifted, and I understood that I don't stand alone. We're able to bear the weight of the stole because the congregation bears it with us. Every one of you. We are you. We're held together by congregational polity. What does that mean? It means you own the church. You are the church. It says we believe in a shared ministry of all of us. Our spiritual ancestor, one of them, is Christianity. When it first shaped itself, it centered on the idea that we were all priests. A rabbi named Jesus of Nazareth spoke directly to the people, and even after his death, there was no idea of recreating the priestly caste found in Judaism. Every person was equal. They were expected to have some kind of personal relationship with the divine of their understanding. Each person was asked to bring whatever skills they had forward for the good of the community. They worshiped together, they shared, they trusted their own understanding of what they needed to do. And if somebody had asked those early Christians, what is your ministry? You would have gotten a direct answer. I'm a fisherman. I'm a baker. I'm a seamstress. I'm a furniture maker. What is your ministry? How do you serve with love and joy? How do you serve your community? That idea was still around in 1520. Martin Luther wrote, "In fact, we are all consecrated priests." As St. Peter in 1 Peter 2 through 9 says, "You are a royal priesthood and a priestly kingdom." And Revelation, which is wild on its own, it says, "Through your blood you have made us into priests and kings." A few months later, Martin Luther wrote, "There are indeed priests who we call ministers. They are chosen from among us. They do everything in our name. There is a priesthood which is nothing else than the ministry." The Unitarian Universalists took this idea, the shared priesthood, the shared polity, each congregation calling forth its own professional minister if it wants to. The power lies with you. That minister governs as the people of the church find fit. That's an awesome responsibility. And as you enter into the search process, you are engaged in finding that person to be upfront in your name, doing what it is you want them to do, helping to direct the church in ways that you find fit. But there's more. There's more behind that. You're called not just to share church governance, which you all are amazing at. You're called to share the work of prophecy. And this is a weird concept for a lot of folks. So let's talk about it. This is the place where the weight of the minister's stole gets a little heavy if they're out there by themselves. Theologian James Luther Adams, who most of us call JLA, said the prophetic liberal church in which the prophetic is not a church in which the prophetic function is assigned merely to a few. The prophetic liberal church is the church in which all persons think and work together to interpret the signs of the times in light of their faith, to make explicit through discussion the thinking that the times demand. It says we run our mouths, that's what we're called to do, to think about what is going on in the world and to have an opinion about it. The prophetic liberal church is the church in which all members share the common responsibility to attempt to foresee the consequences of human behavior, individual and institutional, with the intention of making history a place of merely being pushed around by it. He said, "Only through the prophetism of all believers can we foresee doom and mend our common ways." Now, for some, JLA's ideas are horrifying. When we say prophet, I know the first image that comes to my mind is the biblical Ezekiel. This wild person standing out by a stream and screaming, wearing rags of goatskin. He wasn't exactly popular at dinner parties. We think about Ezekiel having visions of wheels within wheels and fierce beasts. In verses 8 through 12 in the book of Ezekiel, he writes, "Because of your lying false words and lying visions, I'm against you. My hand will be against the prophets who see false visions and utter lying divinations. They'll not belong to the council of my people or be listed in the records of Israel, nor will they enter the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am the sovereign Lord, because they will lead my people astray, saying peace when there is no peace. And because when a flimsy wall is built, they cover it with whitewash. Therefore tell those who cover it with whitewash that it's going to fall. Rain will come in torrents, and I will send hailstones hurtling down and violent winds. And when the wall collapses, Will people not ask you, where's the whitewash you covered it with? Now that doesn't seem very useful in modern America. I sit there and my first reaction is, okay, who cares? What does that mean to me? So let me reword that in modern English. Life and love call us to this. We have to reject lies and false visions of what our country should be, what our people should be. Someone who leads through lies will never be truly great, and they shouldn't be welcome in our country, no matter who they are. As we stand together, you'll know that we embody love, because a liar will tell us to accept falsehood in the name of peace when there isn't any peace. They'll build a flimsy wall, cover it with cheap paint, and tell us it'll protect us. But we have to tell the wall builders and the contractors and the wall painters that it'll all fall when love rises up and storms against badly built stones. Walls fall, and people will ask, why was this ever built when clearly it wouldn't stand? No matter what the bad actions are that you see, it's your job to open your mouth. That's what this says. Prophecy doesn't come in biblical sounding words these days. It doesn't come from one viewpoint. You weren't called to preach hellfire and brimstone unless you really feel called to do that, and then okay. You're called to bear the weight of the stole. You're called to speak out when you see something wrong. It could be as simple as seeing a buddy who's a contractor literally building a bad wall. Could be as firm or as big as going to political rallies and speaking truth to power. Only you know what you are called to. You are called, however, to rise up in troubled times and say to those you know, here's what I see, and here's where I stand. No more than that. You can be Republican or Democrat or independent. You can be green. You can be totally apolitical. This isn't about politics. This is about open your mouth. Speak your truth. Tell what you see and you know. Only you can say whatever your prophetic vision of the future is. I don't know if you're a John the Baptist or a Bob Dylan, a Lady Gaga or a Gandhi. I don't know if your truth and my truth sound alike, but I know that without you, the weight of the stole pulls a minister to their knees. It takes us all, with all our different viewpoints, to engage in ministry. And as you go into search, it matters. Because you may not think that your view is important, that your truth is important. I can tell you that it is. That every voice has to be heard because you matter. As our reading says this morning, we're trying to make the best of a nutty situation. In fact, that's what I'm trying to do all the time. That's it. I want you to put me down in the Gallup poll as someone who helps all the time. Put me down under all the above. I'm very all the above. We're all trying to make the best of a nutty situation. And if search isn't a nutty situation, I don't know what is. We're all trying to do our best. Do your best. Speak bravely. Rise when possible. Be very all the above. I'll help you carry your stole if you help me carry mine. Amen.
We extinguish the flame of the chalice, and we know that the light of truth and love and the warmth of this community go with us until we meet again. Please rise in body and spirit and join in singing our final hymn, Number 1,000, morning has come.
Go out in joy as a member of a beloved community and minister to the world. Peace, ashe, and may it be so.